Imagine coming back from a trip, only to find the locks changed on the home your father built. Your bank accounts are empty, your belongings are gone, and you realize you have been scammed. And the new legal owner? A notoriously arrogant superstar. This is the exact nightmare facing Han Ji-eun. She is an eternal optimist who has suddenly found herself completely destitute. Now she is sleeping outside the gates of the only property she has ever cared about, desperate to win it back at any cost. Inside those gates is Lee Young-jae. He has immense wealth, but he also has a massive PR disaster brewing. He needs a quick scandal cover-up to protect his image, and he's desperately looking for a way to spark jealousy in his own childhood crush. Set against the backdrop of Seoul, where high-speed modern stakes collide with deep traditional history, these two lives violently intersect. You have two completely incompatible people facing totally different crises. Yet, because of one piece of real estate, they are forced onto a collision course where walking away simply is not an option. Their solution is as absurd as it is brilliant: a legally binding, purely transactional contract marriage. For Ji-eun, the motivation is strictly economic. She agrees to act as Young-jae's live-in maid, scrubbing floors and cooking meals, solely to earn back the deed to her house over 6 months. For Young-jae, the motivation is social leverage. This fake marriage provides an impenetrable PR shield against his scandals. It also serves as a perfectly crafted psychological weapon to make the woman he actually wants jealous. By signing on the dotted line, they create the ultimate storytelling vacuum. They are sworn enemies trapped under a single roof, governed by a cold transaction and a loudly ticking clock. Psychologists call this the proximity principle. Physical closeness and repeated interaction inevitably accelerate emotional bonding, regardless of initial hostility. Anticipating this, they actively fight the psychology, drawing literal lines of division and strict zones to keep their lives from bleeding together. But sharing a bathroom and fighting over a vacuum cleaner levels the playing field. Their intense daily bickering rapidly strips away Young-jae's untouchable celebrity aura. Ji-eun views Young-jae through the lens of a daily annoyance, rather than a public icon. Because she isn't a fan, she forces him to interact as an ordinary, flawed human being. By hiding behind strict boundaries and hostile rules, they ironically create a highly insulated, safe environment. Without the pressure of real romantic expectations, both characters slowly drop their protective egos. Real life happens in mundane spaces. Eating meals, cleaning up, and caring for fevers forces them into a state of mutual reliance. Their fake marriage is effectively tricking them. By role-playing, they practice the habits, communication patterns, and attentive behaviors of a highly functioning partnership. Then, outside forces begin testing those walls. Real-world crushes and meddling friends actively attempt to pull their carefully balanced arrangement apart. Watching an outsider flirt with your fake spouse should not matter. Yet, these external threats trigger flashes of genuine, uncontrollable jealousy. The cold, calculated transaction has quietly been replaced by real affection. The legal contract has become a barrier to their own honesty. They're stuck in a cycle of role-play that prevents them from admitting what they actually feel. The tension snaps when the timeline runs out. The contract expires, the debt is settled, and the safety net of the fake marriage excuse completely evaporates. This shift introduces a new layer of uncertainty. To stay together now, they cannot hide behind a signature on a page. They must actively and voluntarily choose each other in the harsh light of reality. Taking that leap requires exposing themselves to real-world heartbreak. There is no longer a business arrangement to blame if things fall apart. There is only raw vulnerability. In this narrative framework, true romance requires both characters to give up the economic and social leverage they once held over each other. They finally realize that the physical real estate they spent months fighting over means nothing if the house is empty. The value was in the shared life they built inside those walls. This specific execution in Full House codified the contract marriage blueprint, establishing a structural formula seen across global television and literature today. It proves that initial sparks are cheap. Shared experiences, daily humor, and domestic vulnerability form the only actual, unshakable foundations of lasting love. Sometimes you really do have to fake it until you feel it. If you want to see how more iconic stories use human psychology to keep us hooked, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next deep dive.